Storm, Broward County Mass Care Services Tabletop exercise. Again, we're very thankful that you've taken out your time to be here today. I am Jenny Hazen. I am the exercise co-facilitator along with Chuck Lanza. Chuck is our Broward Emergency Director, and I am a section chief, section manager for the division. But we are recording this for future instructional, educational purposes. I want to thank the Salvation Army because they were providing for us today a canteen luncheon. If you didn't get here in time, they did provide a luncheon at 11:30 today as a part of their practice for providing canteen in an exercise, in an activation. So we want to thank them for that. They volunteered to do that. Today's scenario is going to involve a hurricane, which is what we're used to exercising. That some of what Bill and Pat and others talked about today is that we have to become cognizant that we are really all hazards. We could be asked to do the kind of activation we're talking about today if there were any other type of emergency, if there was a terrorist event, a bombing, a very large plane crash. If, like the train crash in New York this week, if that had caused any kind of sheltering to happen because it was in that kind of an area, residential or otherwise, we would have to go ahead and do what we're talking about today. So it's not just hurricanes that this happens in.
For the exercise purposes, today is August 24th, 2013, and for the next 2 days, it'll be the August 25th and then August 26th. We will provide you questions related to the scenario that will provoke certain types of responses, and we hope that each unit will talk and tell us exactly what they believe they will be doing based on their policies, procedures, and their SOPs and everything you have in writing, not what you think you should be doing. And if you don't have something in writing, say, yeah, we don't have that in writing, but we need to deal with it, so we can make that as a note so we have some things that we can follow up on after. Okay, as I said, it's August 24th. It's now 12 noon. Hurricane Max has developed over the last couple of days over the mid-Atlantic and is moving in a west-northwest direction towards South Florida. It's a Category 3 on the Saffir-Simpson scale, which means it's considered a major hurricane with potential impact in a couple of days. Bertha Henry, the county administrator, has decided to raise the level of activation in the Emergency Operations Center to a level 2. And specifically, right now, it's going to be ESF 6 and emergency management. The three objectives, again, we're going to repeat this numerous times today. Your ability to activate, to alert and notify your people. We all do that differently. Let's talk about it today. Somebody might have a better way that we can incorporate it into all of our operations. We want to be able to, and I've told people many times that we do a lot of stuff in emergency management. I include all of us as emergency management. But the things that will be the most life-threatening in our community is our ability to evacuate and shelter people properly. If we don't do those correctly, in all honesty, nothing else is going to matter. If we put up traffic lights after the storm, if we're able to get houses built back together, that's going to be wonderful. But if we don't get people out of harm's way and into shelters safely, then we're going to be failures.
Into the policies. So objective number 1 is activating staff. Evaluate ESF 6 ability, that's all of your agencies, to activate assigned personnel prior to a forecast landfalling Category 3 hurricane. And remember, Wilma was a high-end 1, in some estimations a 2. So we're talking about a landfalling Category 3 in Broward County in accordance with existing standard operating procedures. So in other words, something that you've never dealt with before, most likely. How does your agency, and remember we have 4 main agencies, how does your agency alert staff of current conditions which may result in a shelter activation?
So take it. That the 48 hours out before those decisions are made, but there's notices coming in that there's a storm on the horizon. The branch director or department director will meet with the leadership team and we'll notify them of the conditions, both in meeting and by email. And then the leadership team, which is comprised of all the division and office directors that make up ESF supervision, notified through their own procedures, and they can talk a little bit about that beyond me.
When we see a date of a potential landfall, the coordination starts not only within the Department of Health. We know that there will be at least 2 shelters, special needs shelters, being activated. So we coordinate with our staff, with our senior leadership, but also with the Department of Health's one of the other branches, which is Children's Medical Services, which coordinates the Children's Special Needs Shelter. So we're working with Jerry and Vicki and their staff on that also. DOH in Broward does our quarterly call down with our staff. So we have a roster year-round of staff that are assigned to positions, to special needs shelter positions, not necessarily locations, but positions.
The first thing we do is we modify the flash report that comes out from Broward County Emergency Management, because we cannot send out the middle box that says school closings. That determination can only be made by the superintendent. So if we send that out, that causes a lot of confusion. So we block out that section. We have 30,000 employees. So we start with senior management, and it filters down to the principal level at the school, so that everyone's notified what's going on.
The situational awareness and deploy them to work. So then they need to pick up a car, whatever. If they're from out of state or out of the area, they would have already gotten a rental car. We would have assigned them a rental car. We would have gotten them someplace to stay, staff shelters.
Okay, good job on that. Some of us took it a little further than we wanted. The alert notification of your employees is what we're talking about, because our next one is going to be, how does your agency maintain communications during that phase? Now, it's not going to be much different for most of you, but is there anybody that's had changes now in communications that you want to talk about?
System called Calabria, and we partner with our ESF, or we have our ESFA partners in that, and our DOH staff also.
I apologize, Adam, that we didn't cover you on how your staff knows where to report, but I think you had actually covered that before, but I apologize for leaving you out on that one. We'll make sure you get it double going forward, okay? As you can understand, just in discussing what we have so far today, we've got 4 main agencies, but many other agencies who really need to coordinate the opening of shelters. So when we discuss this, we want to make sure that you're giving your knowledge of how this normally works, also your knowledge of any gaps in how it works, and also thinking of your own plans and procedures. Here, because this is different than what we've done in the past, in that the homeless shelters can no longer serve as hardened hurricane shelters for the homeless. So once the plan is put in place, the homeless from an area is taken to a nearby general population shelter that's open. As Bill said, we're going to have more partner meetings that are initiated by Human Services for ESF 6. Also, one of the things that FEMA is trying to do is build a progressive exercise program, and we are trying to implement that here in Broward. So while this is a tabletop, the next level would be a functional exercise, and then the next level would be a full scale. So we will be building progressive exercises, so you get a chance to not only talk about this, but actually practice some of it and see how it works. I think today we saw some areas of coordination that we can develop, that we've done some things on, but could do even more.
The after-action report will be circulated amongst this group only and people who are involved in this. We're not sending it up the chain. This is something that we want us all to work on. We can discuss it again at future meetings, Pat, and just stay on top of these things and work it at our level. Unless something needs to be bumped up because we all agree that we don't have the horsepower to do it at our level, then we'll kick it up. But I don't want this for general review of everybody in the county.
And we've set up computers so that you can do an electronic participant survey. It's really important that you stay and go with us to do that. We're going to try to have that happen no later than 4:30. It only takes a few minutes of your time, and we'll then give you a certificate of completion for this exercise at the end. So you will have that to include on resumes or your folder for all of your training, those kinds of things. So we will give you that certificate later on.